Grand Rising. The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Karriem Hameed. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution. Grand Rising, and thank you for listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV Show. I'm Naima Latif, along with my co-host Karriem Hameed on the American Muslim 360 channel, and we're going to be joining them in just a moment to have another men-only discussion. So we want you to call in and comment if you're a man, 515-605-9891. And of course, women will be listening in the background, but we'll have a discussion in the after show about what we heard as men talk about the issue of learning financial responsibility and taking financial responsibility for our communities. This is an issue that continues to be at the foundation of much of our financial distress, much of our family distress, much of our community distress. So we want to let the men address it. And this is a critical point, specifically because we just got through with a very heavy buying season, and it always creates a certain amount of stress, especially because we tend to believe that if the man in our lives does not have enough money to buy us things, then they're defective. And so much of this thinking will spur crime during this season, theft. We've had a number of robberies occurring throughout the country, and a lot of it has to do with the pressure to have money. But it needs to be a good idea about how and why we spend money on our families. It's a responsibility to take care of on a regular basis. And often this is missing because of the constructs of our society. And so we need to address that. So we're going to pause and come right back, and we'll be joined by our AM 360 family. And we want you to call in. If you're a man, we want you to join this conversation. Today, our fourth Saturday of the month, our men-only discussion. We want you to call in 515-605-9325 and press 1 when you're ready to speak, and we'll certainly open your mic and get your thoughts. So we'll be right back in a moment. Stay with us.
Anything less, as in if a boy doesn't respect you all the way, you will know what respect feels like because your dad was the first person to show you how a young lady should be treated.
We are now joined with our American Muslim 360 family.
And we are back, alhamdulillah. I was able to reach one of my guests. I shall praise be to Allah. He is going to call in a few moments. There he is. I believe that is our beloved Imam Jihad Muhammad. He is the Imam of the Islamic Center of Greater St. Louis. Let me open his mic and he can introduce himself to the listening audience. Assalamu alaikum. Is this Imam Jihad Muhammad?
This is Rashid Salam, my good brother.
Oh, okay. You have different area codes and stuff.
Yeah. This is the business phone.
Yes, okay. Thank you. And well, I'm quite sure you come to handle your business. Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Just as we await our other scheduled guests, I want to share something with you and the listening audience by way of setting the tone for this discussion between us as men. And the subject matter is our financial stability, our financial house. We need to get our financial house in order. So I want to share this small clip from our beloved leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. I think this just sets the tone for what we are attempting to do here. I come here tonight and plead with you. Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. I said to the group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Tennessonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with the pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own emancipation proclamation. Don't let anybody take your manhood. Be proud of our heritage. As somebody said earlier tonight, we don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look at your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. It's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will proud. Yes, I'm black. I'm proud of it. I'm black and beautiful. be to Almighty God. That's the part where he said that no one can do this for us. No one can do this for us. That we have to use our self-asserted manhood to free ourselves. So there are certain issues, certain conditions that no one can do for us. We have to do for ourselves. And I'm asserting that, yes, he has, don't let no one take your manhood away. And whether we like it or not, in the priority of things, in the priority of the human life, the male has been identified as the leader. But he is leading in conjunction with the female. But the ultimate responsibility of the condition of the house falls upon the male. So it is within that light that we want to have this discussion concerning our financial state in this country and in the world, alhamdulillah, and in the world. So I know this is something that that touches my beloved brother Rashid Salam's heart. Rashid, if you would introduce yourself, please, and a few opening comments, I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother. Yes, my name is Rashid Salam. I am what I've referred to as a community advocate. In most cases, I just always got my brothers from the hood trying to do the world some good. But my background is a former bank manager, former corporate finance manager, real estate investments, and also insurance. My whole life has been centered around what can I do to help my people. And I say that because I'm from a family of 12 brothers and sisters, and I know what it is to be without, and I know what it is to have people fighting against you, keeping you from participating in the society because of the color of your skin. So my focus has always been on the most important thing, I think, is education. Understanding the world that we live in and what it consists of, and what can I do to make a difference in my life as well as make a difference in other people's lives as well. So my focus has been on education and workforce development, comprehensive life skills, let me say it like that, and also trying to find a way to improve the conditions of communities, banking and things of that nature. So the economic concept came to me from once I always wanted to be a teacher or a psychologist and wound up being either one. And wound up going in the military and becoming involved in banking and finance and all that. I didn't like it. For 20 years almost, I worked in that particular field, and I wound up starting my own nonprofit organizations to help young people. And I wound up doing exactly what I always wanted to do. That was teach and using a psychological approach to how things should be taught. And so pretty much that's what I do currently now and what I'm looking forward to continue to do. And that's pretty much a basic foundation of who I am, buddy, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that brief introduction. Alhamdulillah. And I'm aware that you are involved in the establishment of a community credit union called Graceline.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. And in comparison to your experience in the banking system and the structure of a community credit union, what is the difference and the benefits of utilizing a credit union, a community credit union, versus a bank? If you would share that with us, please.
Yes, sir. I have no problem with that whatsoever. A bank basically is a depository organization that takes in money, uses money for investment purposes, and supposedly are supposed to help the people who have deposits develop a financial education portfolio to help people improve their lives. Unfortunately, that's the farthest thing from the truth. The banks are in the business to make money, and they will use your money to make that particular money. I'm just going to give you a quick example before I go to the credit union. Every time we make a deposit into a banking entity, they turn around and borrow from the FDIC 10 times the amount of money of deposits they receive every single month. For instance, if my deposit this month was $100,000, well, I could borrow $1 million, and that's what's happening. The issue here surrounding banking is we give our money to them as a community, and they do what they want to do with their money, and they'll turn around and use redlining tools and Jim Crow laws, if you want to call it that, or whatever types of rules and regulations they come up with, like credit scores and things of that nature, to keep you from participating in the actual economic structure of your community, as well as participating in the economic structure of your state or country. Credit union, which is where banks derive their information from, you, the depositor, are the members and the owners of that particular credit union, meaning that you have an opportunity, have a choice in how money is spent. And the community credit union basically is designed to take, for instance, here in St. Louis, if we decide to have a community-based credit union to where African Americans or Americans of African descent want to participate and put that money will be recycled back into that particular community to build community life, to do infrastructure, to make house loans, car loans, and things of that nature, where you have a benefit to not to be subjected to rules and regulations created by the banking industry, which is definitely racist at best. So the high interest rates, you get all the high interest rates. You don't have to worry about the credit scores, another type of thing. So if we can reduce our interest rates, that means we can reduce our possibilities to do more, and you do more with our money, and don't get tied up long-term, 10, 15 years down the road trying to pay off a debt that you had at $500, with the interest rates will take you 6, 7, 8 years just to pay off that $500 debt. So the benefit here is this: ownership versus non-ownership. You can't tell a bank what to do with your deposit, but you surely can tell a credit union what to do, give you more participatory access to what goes on, and particularly in your particular community, you have a better benefit of building that community life a lot better.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Thank you. That is an excellent explanation between community credit union and banking.
Yes, sir.
I'm hearing the importance of control over one's finances.
Absolutely.
Being included in the decision making of how those finances are utilized in the community in which you live. Praise be to Almighty God Allah. I offer a suggestion also in order to improve our financial state in this country. Right now, our cities have a lot of vacant buildings and houses standing. Some are in disrepair, beyond repair, but there are a lot of them that are structurally sound. That are structurally sound, and we usually, when the usual thought processes for entering business is we'll open up a restaurant, barbershop, something of that nature. Not even a 7-Eleven. We're shut out of that. We're not garnering the benefits of the 7-Eleven that's franchised across this country. But we are, Imam Muhammad, Rahimahullah alayhi, may Almighty God grant him the highest station in the paradise. He has said to us, the African American people, there is, when another country invades another country, they place the invaded country under military occupation. Military occupation. And he has shared with us that we are living under financial occupation. Another, I don't want to say foreigner, but another people have entered our area and they have set up shop, and we are under financial occupation. I want to pause at this time. Let us mull over that in our minds and in our thinking. I want to stop at this time and share with you some important public service announcements. I ask you, don't touch that dial. We'll be back in a while, God willing, inshallah.
And we will be back after these messages. And if you're listening online, Manny wants you to give us a call, 515-605-9891. And women will be having an after show, so we certainly want you to participate and give us a call at 515-605-9325. And we'll be right back after this quick break, so stay with us. The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Karriem Hameed. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of our cells, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about cell care from Susan Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jody Susan. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
888-863. Okay, maybe they...
This is Stephen Mosley. Can you hear me?
You're who? Pardon me, my brother?
This is Stephen Mosley from Sam Living Legacy. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. Okay, yes, praise be to Allah. This is one of our invited guests. He is a tax travel consultant, and he is also a stage actor. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to God for you, my brother. If you would briefly introduce yourself, I will want you to have the privilege of briefly introducing yourself, if you can, please. Very brief, please. Thank you.
Well, first of all, giving honor to the Most High, I had a few technical issues with the service phone provider got me through. But my name is Stephen Mosley. The name of my company is Sam Living Legacy, LLC. We are an actual consulting company, and we have a flip side, one-stop shop, which we mainly specialize in the financial industry with taxes, especially taxes, and flip side is printing, where we also deal with the digital marketing. So we have then with the travel agency as well. So like I said, an incentive to our customers as well to do all their taxes with us to get up to 70% off. But if you just want to simply just book a trip or a car rental or a flight, then you still can get up to 70% off your travel expenses. So.
Hey, thank you, my brother.
Okay, we have another guest, invited guest. Thank you. Hold on, we will return back to you. I believe this is our beloved Imam Jihad Mukmin he is the resident Imam of the Mukmin Noon Islamic Center of Greater St. Louis. Assalamu alaikum, Imam Jihad Mukmin.
Yes, sir. Wa alaikum salam. Yes, sir. So,
yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, brief introduction to myself. Is that what we're doing?
Sir?
Hello?
No, I said, am I giving you a brief introduction?
Yes, sir. Yes, of yourself. Introduce yourself. Yes. I know you.
Yes, sir. Well, first, I want to thank you, Imam Karriem Hameed, for inviting me on this show. The topic that you chose, I think, was an excellent one. And this, like as they say, is right up my alley. Because I'm a firm believer in doing for self. But my name is, as Imam Karriem said, I'm Imam Jihad Mukmin. I'm the resident Imam of Al-Mukminun Islamic Center. But I'm also a businessman. I own my own landscaping, full-line landscaping company, not just grass. We do the whole kit and caboodle, commercial and residential, and also a real estate owner, property owner. And so that's what I do, and that's me.
Okay, I want to thank you, my brother. We have another guest that is present. I believe this is Brother Yoel. Let me unmute his mic, and he can introduce himself. Wait a minute. 312-285, Brother Yoel.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. If you would introduce yourself briefly to the listening audience, please.
Okay. Well, first of all, giving all praises to the creators of heavens and the earth. And thank you very much for inviting me into the program this morning. And thank also, assalamu alaikum to all your guests. I'm Brother Yoel in Chicago here. Well, my resume is maybe not as long as some, but I've been the information man in Chicago for the last 30 years. I own an underground bookstore here in Chicago on 87th Street. And I've been the custodian of this for about 29 years now. So that's what I've been doing since 1981. Pretty much that's it.
That's wonderful, my brother. Thank you. That is wonderful, and that is great. That is for information, praise be to Allah. Educating. That's what you're doing. So I want to share something with my esteemed guest to somewhat set the tone for this conversation. The conversation is, the subject matter is our financial condition. Our financial condition on all levels as a people in this country and on this earth. I want to share with you some statements from our past beloved leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. Let me see if I can access it. Let me go back. Okay. Please listen.
I come here tonight and plead with you. Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. I said to the group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own emancipation proclamation. Don't let anybody take your manhood. Be proud of our heritage. As somebody said earlier tonight, you don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look at the dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. It's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure. But I want to get the language right enough. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.
Okay. I hope that resonated with us. Self-assertive manhood. To write our own document of freedom. To reach down into one's own soul. And don't let no one take your manhood. So, in light of that, we are addressing our financial state. There are on all levels, beginning with the first social unit, the family, and it is from that foundation that the financial house shall be built. So I have left everyone's mic is open. So let's talk about it. Anyone that wants to have any comments or questions or suggestions or to lend to this conversation, you're free to now. We want to talk to one another. And I'm inviting everyone to have conversations this morning as African American male.
Yes, I'm glad that you played that because this is Stephen Mosley from Sam Living Legacy, Sam Oakland, Texas, near me. And it's very critical that you played that to set the mood of everything, because we need to understand the conspiracy, and the conspiracy means the plots to evil against. And what we have to understand is that we have to know who we are as a man, because, we're not born into anything. It's learned and taught behavior. And what people got to understand is that when the black household, in this case, I'm going to use the word black, we really didn't dig with people. But we
for real, I hear your concern. I also am somewhat avoiding that color coded language, but
right
for sake of identity. Yes, I understand. Thank you, my brother.
Exactly. But when the family structure was broken apart, or whatever, going back to history as far as our households, the man has been stripped since day one, and that's where the system came into play. Of course, when these mothers had to be single women raising these men, because to be men, and then which they cause conflict, so then they tell you that you can't discipline your children, and then that's when child abuse. They said they're gonna call child abuse, and so now they can run your kids down the street. What we have to realize is that we have to get back to come from a spiritual standpoint, not from a religious standpoint, but from a spiritual standpoint, where it has God, we are God. We are the higher self, getting tuned with higher self, and then through prayer and meditation. And it's in the scripture in the Bible, I'm paraphrasing, it says, pray and meditate both day and night. Meditation, which means going from within. God is not around us. He's not over here. He's not over there. He's from within us. So once we go from within ourselves, man, it's meaning. And because a lot of us know this and a lot of us don't. So a lot of us that do, we need to start doing it with foundation, like you said, charity begins at home, which means that, you know, you have a meditation life. Meditate day and night, because the true revelation knowledge comes from meditation. When you go from within yourself, you're able to, your thoughts are clear, things come to you, whereas you know what direction you need to go and how you need to structure and move forward as far as building your foundation. And, you know, through that, and then just having the spirit of gratitude and doing affirmations, you know, is what is going to draw you to do what you need to do, because we can sit here all day and rewind the tape and go back to what was, but we're here now, we're in a different age with the technology constantly advancing in this world is going into a whole nother dimension. See, when we start getting into that, that's a whole other subject matter, but it starts from there. So I don't want to take up all the time. I just wanted to say that from that standpoint, from what you just asked, what you just stated.
Yes. All right. Anyone else? Everyone's mic is open.
Yes, sir. This is Rashid Salam. You know, the subject at hand, economics and the African American community. You know, sometimes we tend to forget things that have happened in the past that have us in this particular state. And I'm not going to say that the past is the reason, or Europeans are the reason, or whoever is the reason. But historically, in this particular country, a lot of us don't even know that we've done this before. What we're experiencing right now is something that we should not be experiencing if we only just go back in history and look at what happened, not what's wrong with us, but what happened to us. You know, 1870 to 1901, we had 66, state legislators in Congress. Now, think of the dates now, 1870 to 1901. They were able to pass legislation, or seek to pass legislation, that in Oklahoma alone, there were 60 states that were Black-owned and operated. They were trying to create a Black state. Maggie Walker, between 1901 to 1917, before Black Wall Street, we had 34 banks in this country, owned and operated by African-American people with $20 million in deposits. In today's time, it's probably $200 million to almost $400 million. We had 800 newspapers in 1900. We had real estate holdings of between $120 to $370 million in this country. We had newspapers. We had businesses. We had over 660,000 businesses in this country. So the question here is, what happened? And we always have to focus on this sacred institution called education. The fact that they deprived us of the opportunity to know who we were, what our possibilities are, and the things that have happened to us in this country, through all the Jim Crow laws. You can call it what you want to call it. You can call it the inability and pervasive systemic systems that approached us, the redlining, all those particular things. But once we understand that the education, 6 generations of Black children did not have proper education in this country from 1865 to 1955. So we failed to recognize those basic tools that caused this Black tax. Let's call it that. A Black tax in the auto industry, a Black tax in the insurance industry, a Black tax in the job industry, in the business and home industry. We got to understand that these opportunities, innovative opportunities that we have been deprived of, is basically because of lack of education and lack of information. Now, we could throw in all the things that have happened to us from 1960 and the Black Power movement and whatever you want to call it. But we failed to go back and get the basics foundation that was already established back in the day. So how did Black Wall Street come into existence? It's not about Black Wall Street. That's what they want you to think, that this massacre was the problem. But it wasn't the massacre that was the problem. It's what we did leading up to the massacre that they don't want you to know about. Those opportunities that we had, those trades that we had, those innovations that we had. And our capital, as we talked earlier about the difference in a credit union and a bank, that community development credit union type of concept. We failed to go back and study that, and they didn't allow us educationally to acquire that education. So this inability to learn, this inability to understand what the roles are, the responsibilities are for men in a community, they broke us. There's a target on our back. They locked us up. They made it impossible for us to get jobs, impossible for us to do the things that make a man want to be a man, which is responsibility, which is being a one who takes care of his family. They destroyed that whole concept through another method that we just haven't taken the time out to really begin to teach our young men and women on what happened to us and not what's wrong with us. I just want to say that I didn't want to take up too much time, but I did want to lay the foundation on the most important thing, education.
Yes, sir. Would you say that we are the product of someone else social engineering? You know?
Yes. Yeah, shut up a doubt.
Yes. When Reconstruction ended, it ended because the federal government no longer protected us and our rights, especially during the Wilson administration. He whitewashed federal workers. He promoted the movie The Birth of a Nation, where it idolized white supremacy and the Klan. And they removed our protection as citizens of this government. And the backlash from the progress that we had made was very, very brutal. It was very brutal. We're not in this situation because of lack thereof. No,
yes, sir.
This was purposefully, consciously instituted. Pardon me. So knowing that, and yes, sir. When I really can't get long-winded. Let me stop right there. If someone else, please.
Yes, sir. Jihad, look here. Yeah, I'm gonna take go back a little further than Rashid Salam, and I'm gonna go back to the 1500s. And when the Europeans started traveling the world, they had been contained right there in Europe, France, England, Italy, all in that region. They hadn't traveled anywhere before that, 14th, 15th century. And when they did, they noticed that wherever they went, the people of that land, when they amalgamated with the women, that the children came out looking like the people they had color, like the people of that land. And they at that point realized that at some point, if we don't come up with a system, we're not going to exist anymore, because it don't matter, male or female, whoever we mix with, the baby's not coming out looking like us. So that's when that system start putting that system together. And it's a system of supremacy. And that is one of the reasons why we have to, because you cannot feel or be a man if you're not have your own independence. And so they have to do whatever they can to try to, and I can give some personal accounts, which I'm sure all of us can. I can just give one just recently, where they, saw African American in a business that we don't really too much be in, and they seen one here and did some things with my company just to make sure that I didn't advance. The same company come along, white company, and then they give him what he needed to get these bigger contracts. But part of it also is it's like when we were on the slaves, there were there were some of us who yearned to be free and say, it's like the movie Roots. They showed you two different dynamics. You had Fiddler, who never known what freedom was, and so he couldn't understand why Kunta kept wanting to get free. In his mind, he couldn't understand that. His heart couldn't conceive that. But Kunta was born free. And he said, this ain't right. I don't supposed to be in servitude to anybody. The Creator created me like he did you. And there was some, whenever they got ready to run away, they would say, where we going? This ain't bad. you know, and what we gonna do out there? And so that same mentality, we can go back to the 70s and see 60s. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. We came up with the afros. Everybody was getting conscious of who they were. And all of a sudden, if you pay attention to that, here come a loop get thrown in it, and it was Superfly. It was the man. Take that fro off and put this perm in your head. Let your hair get fried, dyed, laid to the side, and go out there and pimp this. Go to your people. This is more glamorous. And so they slid that in on us, and we failed. So what has happened is, like Rashid is on point about where we were at one point. Like, this is not something we have to do all over again because we've been there before. You know, we are actually so-called, we're supposed to have more freedom now, but we actually have less economically than we had when we were supposed to be under more discrimination. I don't know if we're noticing that or not as a people. Yeah, you got the so-called freedom. You know, it's just like they said when they went into certain lands, and yeah, they gave, you got the Bible, but they end up taking your land though. You know, so we supposed to have so much freedom, but is it really benefiting us if we're in the situation we are economically? And I say no, because you can't even be a man if you can't provide for your family.
Yes, sir. We can look at the situation in South Africa, ending the apartheid system. They only just went so far. The living conditions of the common person in South Africa has not changed. The economics was still left in the hands of the colonizers. And as I stated earlier, Imam Muhammad Rahimahullah Alayhi has shared with us, African American people, the whole community, that we are under financial occupation. Others have occupied our areas and set up shop. I'm not saying boycott or tear down what they've done, or nothing like that. But that's the condition that we're in. And there's a consciousness that we have to come into in order to rectify what has been done. When you free your mind, everything else will follow with that. And I'm grateful that my brother mentioned prayer and meditation. Meditation is the ability to think. To think. Get off by yourself. Get away from all of this media hype. And the ability to think and reason our way from out of the shameful condition we're in comparison to other men on this earth. I'll stop right there. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Praise be to Almighty God. We're having a conversation with one another as African Americans.
Now, I don't know if everybody else spoke to somebody else. Did the other guests get a chance to speak before I say something? Because I don't want to be not letting them go.
Well, no, but this is Brother Yoel. First of all, you know, in many in our conversation here, you know, this saying, he's preaching to the choir. A lot of what we're saying right now, a lot of us already know those things, and you know, but I wanted to chime in on something that a couple of brothers mentioned earlier. One is education. That's my business. That's what I do here. I call as a matter of fact, in the last 2 years, since this pandemic here, you know, I've been looking at my position in a very different way. And I look at my position as they say that in Chicago, they only wanted the essential businesses open. I considered myself an essential business, so I stayed open. So why is that? Because education is what you need. If you want to make a decision on what you should or should not do at times like this, then you need to be informed. How can you make a decision if you're not informed? Education is what you get when in any type of relationship, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend type of relationship, what do? You ask her, what's her name? Where you stay at? Where you collecting information? That right now, in these times, people need information. So therefore, they need to know something about the people who are before us, espousing that we should take vaccines and stuff like that. Not to get into all of that, but however, the bottom line is you needed information. And if you don't have information, then who and how can you make the decision that you want to make in these times? Which I started, but at that point, I began to consider myself CIA headquarters, Central Intelligence. Intelligence is what? Information, education. So therefore, the people need information in order to make decisions that they need to make. So at the same time this is happening, our best are being born right now, okay? Yes, we have, in so many ways in the past, we have lost a lot of what we had in the past, but today we still have a certain amount of money, or I think the last time I checked, maybe we were 8th or 9th only when it comes to a group of people who had money, but now we have it as consumers more so than owners, and that's what we need to be striving toward today. Now, also, you mentioned freedom. Well, Martin Luther King mentioned it, but I'll add to what Martin Luther King said was what he said about freedom. Malcolm also echoed it, and he said that get the word freedom out of your mind if you ain't prepared to die for it. You have to be prepared to do that to be successful and to free yourself or emancipate yourself totally from this corrupt system of white supremacy we're in right now, you know. So yes, we've been socialized into what we are right now. But if we begin to look in the mirror and look at ourselves as not as what they call niggas, but look at yourself as God, then and only then can you become that which you need to be to go into the future, because that's what the times are dictating right now. You're beginning to come into your own. And that's why those children that you were giving birth to right now are going to be doing greater things than you. Okay? If they would only, while without, look within, as one brother said earlier there. Go within and with your meditation or whatever, however you want to look at it. But it's our time right now. And the universe is pregnant with this change. It's about to give birth to.
Well, I'm glad you made that as a valid point.
Well, excuse me. I must pause for some public service announcements, and afterwards we have two other callers on the Female Solution line that want to join in this conversation. One is Andrew Nelson. I'm aware of him. He takes part in these conversations when we hold them. And Naima shall bring him in, inshallah, after the public service announcement. So I ask you, if you would please, don't touch that dial. We'll be back in a while. God willing, inshallah.
Peace and blessings. I'm DeLacy Umar Phillips, producer and host of the Dynamic Islamic Faith program, preparing to make it in the land of Islam, right here on AM 360 radio broadcast.
And we will be back in just one moment. If you're listening online and want to join this conversation, give us a call, 515-605-9891. If you're a man that wants to participate in this discussion, and we are talking about men taking responsibility, economic responsibility for the upkeep, maintenance, economic growth of our communities, the maintenance of our families. And as the men noted, we certainly do have some challenges that we have had to face historically. And we are facing those challenges as we, in fact, see what has happened. And we realize that this is a time for us to make a difference. This is a time for us to make some changes in the way we function. And so, of course, we are looking forward to having an opportunity to make some changes in our lives. And so and okay, and we're going to open up the mic for okay. In just one moment, we're going to let's see, connect. All right. All right.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you'll...
This
Okay.
technology of two studio boards operating.
Okay, go right ahead, Andrew. Your mic is open.
I'm going to assume that perhaps you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go right ahead.
And I'm going to speak to Brother Yoel's point as it relates to information, actionable intelligence. I have the information, I have the actionable intelligence that is so appropriate to be promulgated at this particular time. The Universal House of Justice has stated, quote, that far from aiming at subversion of existing foundations of society, it seeks to broaden its basis, to remold its institutions in a manner constant with the needs of an ever-changing world, end quote. That passage, which was probably written by Shogi Effendi, the guardian of Baha'i faith, refers to actualizing my vision for the quantum financial system, which must necessarily include everybody being in personal possession of the Universal Basic Income Treasury Direct Account, which includes the World Health Digital Passport.
Brother Andrew, your voice is sounding somewhat muffled.
Optimally immunized. I don't think you heard it. Has to do with strengthening the immune system and becoming virtually impervious to coronavirus infection based on the narrative of this
Brother Andrew Nelson,
which Archbishop Vigano
Brother Andrew Nelson
characterizes as a grotesque
I don't think he can hear you.
But now that the grotesque farce is so pervasive and so many people are wearing a mask in this very moment, and all of the accoutrement that attends the COVID-19 narrative is as Charles Hameed during the
yes. Andrew, they can't hear you.
If you can, sure, right, but I want to keep us on point with the subject matter. The subject matter, is not COVID-19. It's not whether we take shots or wear masks and all of that. I want to keep us in the framework of the subject matter, and that is our weak financial condition on this earth as a people, and that ultimately men are responsible for the community and the nation and a people of which they live in and they are a part of. That is the subject matter. And I appreciate what you said concerning COVID-19. But the subject matter this morning is on our financial condition as a people.
Andrew, your voice was a little muffled.
Yes.
So they were not able to hear you.
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. I would like to make a comment. This is Brother Steve from Sam Living Legacy.
Yeah, your
Can I
voice
make a
was a little
comment?
muffled. They weren't able to hear you totally, but keep listening.
Okay, guys, am I able to make a comment? Because I don't want to step across anybody. Okay, well, the comment I wanted to piggyback off what Brother Yoel said was as far as the educational piece, because I was in the public schools. I was a single father, having full legal custody of my daughter, then conspired against the system. Now that daughter's 20 years old, I have a 4-year-old grandson. She has her own car, everything. So, like I said, which is a blessing. But I found some things in the public school system when I got, of course, fired from my job. We ain't gonna get into that, but everything happens for a reason. But it was to just have me to be a full-time dad so that I could see what the problem was, and then having to lose 2 biological brothers to gun violence in these streets of Chicago. My oldest daughter 5 is turning 45 Christmas Day. Well, on the 25th.
425. Can you give me your name and where you're calling from?
But
yes, LA.
Okay, hold on. I'll let them know you're
part of the local school council, all of that. And I prayed, man. I was in the room. I couldn't understand why all this violence going on, all this and that going on. I lost 2 brothers. I'm like, I was so frustrated. As I began to ask questions, man, as I began to pray, I look around the room, man, and, you know, guys' names is like on pieces of paper, man, things popping up. I'm finding old manuscripts dated back to 1700s to the Irish, man, the council, when they was first into the washroom. And what people got to understand is that what's going on, because it's from public schools to prison pipe, from pipelines to prisons. And what we got to understand is that it's already been conspired against our young black boys that they would be in jail at a certain time and all this and that. And I was just doing research on these things. But what we got to understand is that this system, like you said, this system has been set up for us to fail. It's not been set up for us to do what we are called to do. And the thing about it is that the system is not going to teach our children about, you know, first of all, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, they put prayer after schools. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it came after that because prayer is an essential part for the meditation of us being in existence. Because we're gods in the earth. That's what people got to understand. And the thing about it is that what we must understand is that they don't teach you anything about the laws, the tax laws. You know what I'm saying? They don't teach you anything about property. All these things.
Unmuted.
We don't even know the origin of our spells. We don't know the origin of our spells because they have set a system in place so that you don't know who you are. And so that's where the issues are coming in at. And what people don't understand is that that's why prayer and meditation is important, because revelation knowledge is better than any book knowledge, because you're getting it from the Creator. You know, and that's a lot of things I didn't go to school for. I didn't go to school for business, believe it or not. You know, I went to school for music. My number one love was music, you know, and everything else, you know, but the Creator had a bigger plan, had a greater plan to bring me into my higher self on who I am, first of all. So as a prime example, you know, of a meditation, because we feel programmed to work in these jobs and all this stuff, like Minister Louis Farrakhan was telling us, we always out here looking for a handout, a job, and all this stuff. Create a position, create a job. And I didn't, you know, at the time I heard him say he was speaking through the years, but it didn't really comprehend, really sink into my head since then. But as time went on through experiences in life, it teaches you, especially when you lose, you know, essentially things happen in this world you don't understand. But when you start going from within yourself, you start getting that revelation knowledge on things, because things start divinely coming to you. You know, we have to understand how, you know, how it's all part of laws of attraction. That, you know, whatever we put out is what we get out too. So the thing about it is that when you begin to do that, and you put that, you're emitting that out, or wanting to have a desire to know what's going on, then the revelation comes through you. It was coming through my YouTube channel, different things like that. And what we have to understand is that, you know, that's the best knowledge you can get. And I'm glad that we are on this subject matter, because we need to understand is that, you know, it's just a matter of just educating ourselves and reading. They forbidden us to read. You know what I'm saying? They would kill us to read. But now most of us, if it killed us, cost us our life to read, we still wouldn't read. You know what I'm saying? So, and then like you said, a lot of our people have not been educated, been taught. So now this is the perfect opportunity with this platform that I'm feeling something from, that we have a solution. We have a solution, like I said, to what's going on. And as far as educating our people, first of all, getting our people the spiritual and mental therapy that they need. We also specialize in that with our nonprofit as far as transformation of renewed minds, because people's minds, what good is giving people economics? We talking about over 400 years of oppression. You know what I'm saying? So we've been traumatized with all this COVID stuff, and all this stuff going on with the conspiracy. You know, we got to understand that, you know, trauma is real. And a brain incision has to be done first in order to be able to put economics in people's hands, because people had been all through all this government money. And a lot of these people still walking around here crazy. I stay right over here rolling. And this guy came over here with a machine gun. I heard it the other morning. My partner called me on the phone and said, you know what happened? We have to understand that spiritual and mental illness is real. And that is an evil force. A spirit to have a house to dwell in. So that's what we have to get back to. I want to keep talking. I'm long-winded. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that out.
You know, I'm glad the brother, you know, did mention something that truly is the key element in this educational format that we have to establish. You know, I truly believe that the opportunity that we're faced with right now is very, it's simple in one sense, but very, very complicated in another. Whoever owns the land owns the man. That's the first thing I'm going to talk about. We have to understand that we have to get our children off Facebook and put their face in a book. Thirdly, the brother made a key point here. When I made the statement of what's wrong with us, it's not what's wrong with us, it's what happened to us. And that's the trauma that he's talking about currently. And that's what I'm finding currently is a major problem in prisons. People, brothers and sisters getting out of prisons, our school systems, our home lives, our workforce development lives. It requires a root-based therapeutic, an organized structure we have to put together. So we can talk about what we need to do and how we need to do it, but where's the strategy that has to be put in place? And that's why I led off with the foundation of education. Well, what education? You know, here's a problem Carter G. Woodson said in 1935. You know, we go to these schools to be educated, we think, but we actually go to be trained in their education opportunity. But what about our history? So that's why I started with the historical aspects of what we have already done. The foundation is here. We don't have to second guess anything. What we have to do is come together in unity with one thought process on how to build community life. We're going to have to paint this picture. It's not going to happen until we paint the picture. And the picture is not going to be painted until we understand what's wrong. So we talk about money and how why our communities are in the situation they find themselves in. Well, we don't own any land. If you don't own any land, guess what? You don't own pretty much anything. We don't even understand the importance of neighborhood associations. We don't understand the importance of what a community development corporation is. We don't understand that recycling our dollars, I was referring to with Black Wall Street, it wasn't about Black Wall Street massacre. It was about the fact that these brothers and sisters were being able to recreate and recycle their money in a format, but they had a strategy. They had a long-term strategy to remake their communities, to remake their situations and circumstances. Very few of us know that we had. Here's Henry Ford, who came up with the auto industry. He had a lot of what we call Americans of African descent. Well, Henry Ford shut down Patterson automaker, who was the original makers of the automobile. All those qualified Black men and women, excuse my term, Black, went to work for Henry Ford. That's why Henry Ford just blew up all of a sudden, because they put together a strategy to shut down Patterson Auto. So the history that we have to lay out, the foundation, the strategy we have to organize and structure. We just can't arbitrarily just keep talking about what we should do, how we're going to do that. It has to be packaged. It has to be a strategy. It has to be organized. And we all have to get behind it one way, in unity, with one purpose in mind. 1 + 1 is 2. We're not going to get to 3. So that's the strategy that I'm talking about. I want the organizational concept that we're talking about. And I'm going to leave it there, because we can go on and on about what everybody knows. But where's the strategy? Where's the organizational structure to get it done? Go ahead.
In relationship to land, I'm offering this suggestion. As I say, right in the communities that we live,
yes,
there is housing that is going for back taxes. There is vacant dwellings that the municipalities are offering for a small amount of money. How many African American real estate companies are there?
Yes.
My suggestion is, now all of us won't do it, but to invest in real estate, that is the owning of land. Most wealth is judged by the value of the habitat, the living quarters. So some of us should put our focus there on acquiring the opportunity that is in front of us.
Brother Karriem, you have a caller.
Those homes.
That's the strategy.
All right, please.
That's the strategy.
Yes. Please bring in the caller. Thank you, Naima. The I can start rolling. Thank you, my sister. Yes.
Okay. L.A. Davis from Florida, you're on. Your mic is open.
Yeah, I was just chiming in. I listened to a little of the conversation and chiming in on, I guess, the title that you have for the podcast today. Just from my point of view, modern man, particularly in Western countries, regardless of race, color, religion, ethnicity, modern man, for the most part, hasn't learned. Now, I'm talking about on a critical mass basis. There are definitely some exceptions. But on a critical mass basis, modern man hasn't learned the fundamentals of living and provision. If you want to be a rocket scientist for NASA, that's great. But there's 6 fundamental areas of what I consider of living and provision. One of them you just sort of talked about is, you mentioned land, because there's a distinction between land and real estate. But house building. 150, 200 years ago, it was normal for a person to build their own house with no bank financing, no type of institutional credit, no assistance from the government, no FHA, no VA, no Section 8, none of that, because we had the skill set to build our own house. And if you look at the history of man, of mankind. Learning how to build your own shelter is fundamental. A cockroach knows how to build their own place. But modern man, particularly in Western culture, on a critical mass basis, we don't know how to do that. The second thing is, and this is real simple, harvesting water. We know how to buy water. We know how to go to 7-Eleven or Whole Foods or Wegmans, wherever your favorite grocery store is. We know how to buy bottled water, Dasani, Fiji water, whatever you like to buy. But most of us don't know how to harvest it. And that we can't live without it. The third basic fundamental is most of us do not know how to, and this isn't a black thing, this is a black, white, yellow, green, brown, modern man thing. Once again, particularly in Western culture, we don't know how to feed ourselves. Now, you can have $1 billion and go to McDonald's or go to Wegmans or Whole Foods or whatever. That's not knowing how to feed yourself. That's knowing how to consume with whatever kind of currency that you have. When I say learning how to feed yourself, once again, do you know how to grow your food? Do you know how to, you like chicken, you like beef, you like pork? Do you know how to catch your food? Do you know how to fish? That's knowing how to feed yourself. Fundamentally, on a critical mass basis, modern man doesn't do that. The next fourth area would be trading, and that includes business. 150, 200 years ago, particularly right after slavery, for the first 50 to 60 years out of slavery, a lot of black folk, and white folks too, they had a family business. It could be something real. I mean, look what the Chinese have done just with cooking. That was their skill set. They knew how to feed their family, so they started to feed the community. Chinese with laundry at one time. They knew how to wash clothes. If you go to many parts of Asia today, that is the family business of 2021 going into 2022, doing laundry. Something that simple is a family business. And they do it without a washing machine. The fifth thing is social capital. Most of us do not know how to get along with other people to get the things that we need for basic living. We don't know anything about social security. Going to the Social Security Social Security office is not, people that go to the Social Security office, and I'm not knocking that, there's nothing wrong with that, but most of the people that go to the Social Security office are socially bankrupt. They can't go to their mama's house to get a meal or a place to stay. They got to go to the government. And once again, I'm not knocking that. Okay? Hopefully I won't have to go because anybody can end up there, including me. But if you build up your social capital, knowing how to get along with others, you don't have, and that's building social capital, you don't have to go to the Social Security office. And the last thing is, point 6, and then once again, I tell this, the fundamentals of living and provision is teaching your children everything I just said. Teaching your children how to build their house. Because let's face it, going to a bank for a mortgage, going to FHA or VA for a mortgage, people that basically, high credit scores and all that, are people who are broke. They don't have the money, they don't have the skill set to build their own house, like the Amish or the Mennonites did. All right. However, if you have a high social capital rating, in other words, how well do you get along with your neighbors where you can go to your neighbor's house and say, look, I'm building a house this coming Saturday, would you help me out? That's the kind of credit I like. Anyway, on that note, I'll land my plane.
Yes, sir. There's a foundation that that wealth building begins at, and most of you have mentioned that. Are we providing for our families? That's the first governorship. That's the first social unit of leadership. Are we providing for our families first? Or too many of our families are dependent upon handouts and government. As men, we are responsible for our families, our neighbor, our neighborhood, the municipality in which we live, the state in which we live, the nation. So the most men of means, they have strong family structure. It began right there, but the interest grows beyond just oneself and one's family.
Can you give me your name and where you're calling from?
The responsibility grows, and it grows,
Area code.
and it grows. But the
Oh, okay.
family
All right.
is
Hold
the
on. I'll let
foundation
those know you're on. Hold on.
of
Probably come to you after the break. Hold on.
of financial wealth. I'll stop right there. We need to pause now for some important public service announcements. We're grateful to all of you that are taking part in this conversation, and those of you that have tuned into the Female Solution. We are grateful to all of you for tuning in. And we shall take a pause now for public service announcement. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back in a while.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Karriem Hameed. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
Are you constantly arguing with your spouse? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Is someone in your family abusing drugs? Have you been the victim of domestic violence? Are you grieving over the loss of a loved one? Let us help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is the result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call us today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
Unmuted. Be proud of our heritage. Is somebody said earlier tonight, we don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and label. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. It's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure. I want to get the language right. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will call up. Yes, I'm black. I'm proud of it. I'm black and beautiful.
And we are back. Those were the words of our past leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. May God grant him the highest stations in the paradise.
You have a caller.
We have another caller.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a caller. Area code 314, Pianki from St. Louis. Your mic is open.
Yes,
Go right ahead.
Is he on?
Oh.
Go
Good
right
morning.
ahead. Yeah, speak up a bit so they can hear you.
Morning, Pianki.
Yeah, I heard you made mention about contracts, Karriem, and saying that we can't get the bigger contract. Well, that's just not true.
No, sir.
Whoever said it. Whoever said it. Because of blacks that have applied themselves in their companies, they do get those big contracts on Is somebody talking?
No, go right ahead.
Go ahead, my brother.
And I can relate to others, but I don't think that you would know them. I can relate to myself. When you look at the downtown skyline, many of those buildings that are sticking up into the skies are erected. And around the area, the bridges that you cross waters, my company erected. And I wasn't the only one that was black. Look at you, H.R. Russell down in Atlanta and the projects that they complete. As recently, Mercedes-Benz done. So, and another thing, if you don't educate your children for these particular type of areas where they're going to be needed, then quite natural, they are not going to be able to command high wages and salaries. And it's just not going to happen. Now, if it happens, yes, it is happening. Is it enough? No, it's not. These STEM graduates that have been organized by the National Society of Black Engineers, they're being hired by the hundreds at these hiring fairs that we have during NSB's annual convention. So you just got to, our children are being educated in those areas. You got blacks in many areas. I'm talking to someone I know, they getting ready to start a business doing aerial refueling of jets that's flying from the East Coast to the West Coast, refueling them as they go over the Midwest. So you apply yourself, get the kids educated in those hard subjects. That's which is in demand. And if you're not doing that, then guess what? Somebody else is. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm glad that you brought up that point. I'm sorry. This is Steve. Can I make a comment? I'm sorry.
Jihad Movement. Yes, sir. If Imam Jihad Movement would share with us, for he is the one that mentioned contracts in relationship to his business. If you would like to respond, Imam Jihad Movement.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, there's several things I'd like to respond. There's been a lot of information.
I'm sorry, I wanted to make a comment, guys. I'm sorry to interject. May I interject, please? I was trying to make a comment before the gentleman said what he said, because I don't want to lose my train of thought. Can I make my comment, please?
Oh, all right. Yes, sir. If you
yes,
go ahead.
I'm No disrespect to you, brother. Like I said, I understood what you were coming from, but I want to say this. I don't want to lose train of thought what the gentleman just said. And we all have some great. We all have subject matter. We all have the table. Is somebody talking?
He mentioned, yes, sir, I am the host. He mentioned a subject matter that our Imam Jihad Muslim had mentioned, and it is in light of that I'm querying comments from Imam Jihad Muslim.
Before you said what you said, sir, I wanted to make a comment, and I understood what you were saying. We all were having a discussion, so I'm not trying to be facetious or anything. Maybe I'm not using the right word, but I just wanted to make a point on what he said. I understood you were talking about they got to do with the contract, and I'm not knocking that. I know you guys want to speak upon that.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I want to say before I lose train of thought.
Yes, sir.
But what I was saying is agree with the caller was saying on the phone. As far as that, and we all have something to bring to the table. We all are here, all like-minded individuals on this line. So as far as we started the process because we are like-minded individuals. Because you're not going to be able to. First of all, it's not our job to save anybody. A person got to save themselves by the choices and the decisions that they make. They're the decision making. So at the end of the day, we all, like I said, are doing, and we're like-minded individuals. I hear this whole thing coming together has come together, and we have made a difference already because everybody is not like-minded. So we got to be mindful that we are in a like-minded season, that we're like-minded individuals on the phone. So what the brother just said, or the caller just said on the phone a minute ago, I just see something transpire from that, is whereas we all can get connected, and we're all the sponsors. You know what I'm saying? Because we just did an event here in Rosewood, a giveaway, not to give away, but to give a hand up to teach people how to fish as far as transforming the mind. You know, and we put everybody that was involved, we put them, all of us, on one banner. So what they say couldn't be done is being done. So that's the point I want to make.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Excellent point, brother. Valuable. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excellent. Thank you, my brother. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I did, and I'm standing on that. But I didn't. We don't want to leave. And I'm glad the brother said what he said, because what we don't want to do here today, and I know that's not your intent, it's definitely not mine. We want to leave people here, even though we are talking about obstacles, we are talking about hurdles, we're talking about things that we got to get through. But we're not saying that we can't get through it. It can be done. But I know from my personal life and others that I know that it is a challenge when you're somebody from our ethnic origin to get in business. But that don't say it can't be done. I remember I got the contract with a bank to do the landscaping. It was the first thing they asked me was, okay, because there was somebody questioning them. They said, all you whites are working on the contract, and they had an issue with that. They said, well, you're in the black neighborhood, but there's no blacks working out here. Well, the only thing we got left is landscape. Well, I know a landscaper. I get the call, and the first thing they asked, do you have the equipment for the job? Yeah, I got bobcats, I got dump trucks. Are you insured? Yep, I got $2 million insurance. So I had to have my stuff in place in order to secure the job, you know. And so, but in other instances, there have been instances where had I been able, it was almost, I call it the guess how many bubbles in the bar soap. Yeah, in order to vote. You know, when they told me on the project I was trying to do, I needed to get people. I've been buying sod is the grass that you put down with new. Some of us know it. I'm just saying it that maybe everybody know what it is. But it was a school that was being built, and I went to bid on it, and so the amount of money that I was going to need, I went to the vendor who I've been doing business with for years, and told them the project. I bid on it, and I may need them to, furnish me the material and then till the job's complete and they'll get paid. They said, okay, we'll do that. But then they wanted me to give 3 other vendors that's doing the same thing. So I said to them, well, and then I go to the plant, the company, the nursery, where I've been dealing with for over 15 years, and they said the same thing. I said, so if nobody is willing to be the first, I come and been doing business with you for over just about 20 years, you know, and it's been, you know, nickel and dime business. And so now when I come with this, you say, yeah, but if you can give me 3 other people, I said, if nobody's going to be the first one to do it, how am I going to ever get 3? So what I'm saying is there is obstacles, you know, and I know that for sure. I'm not saying that, you know, the brother say he built the, yeah, I'm not saying that, because I look to do it and I'm already improving and moving into bigger contracts, but it's harder. That's the only thing I was saying, but not for the spirit. But anyway, I want to move to, because I know we don't have much time. If I got a couple more minutes here, I want to say a couple of things here, and all of them pertains to the topic, even though we may not think that it is, but it actually is. One is we talked about family life. See, the other thing that we got to encourage and we got to promote is marriage. And even we said, well, what marriage got to do with us and being protectors and economics? What do they have to do with it? It has a lot to do with it. Because when you are a man, and I got a new son here that's 8 months old, that boy inspires me to try to figure out how I can make his life better, that he don't have to go through some of the things that I went through. That's what God gave us family for. But he gave us family first in our personal home to motivate the man, figure a way to take care of the family. And you take that same sentiment, that same desire, that same journey that you have for your personal family, and you take that to your religious organization. You take that to your community. You take that to your streets. You take that to your city, and it just should never end. But it has to start somewhere, and it starts at home. So that marriage life, family life is very, very, very important. And then I want to end it with this. That land. I don't know how it is in other cities, but I know here in St. Louis, we have them in abundance. And I've been buying them. I'm right now, as we speak, fencing off a half a block. The recent one that I got my honeybees on the way. I'm going to produce my own honey. I got my chickens on the way. We're going to grow our own eggs. We're going to have our own vegetables. Now, that's not huge, but it at least is something to show, and it's more for my children than anything, to see that you can take this and even get bigger with it. You can produce your own. Well, you don't have to worry about whether Schnucks clothes or the Dirtbergs or some of these other grocery stores or Walmart. You can do it for yourself, you know. And so this is what I think. And then the last thing is our young males. We as men, we're talking about manhood and how finances can make you, whether your manhood is challenged if you don't, if you're not financially, you can't take care of yourself. Another thing is that we have to start standing up for our community. And we can't just seem to just let, I don't care whether it's an immigrant that come from somewhere else and just come in our community and just take over and disrespect the women in our community. We can't allow that. We can't allow our own people to do it. A young brother told me that here not too long ago. He bowed to me when we got to talking. He said, you know, I can feel your energy. He said, and we need more of people like you to say something else. He said, y'all don't say anything. The elders don't say anything, so we just keep running rapid. We just keep taking over and just doing what we do because nobody's saying nothing to it. They said, but we recognize a real man, and when we know that, we're gonna respect that. You know, so I want to end it with that.
Thank you. I mean, yes, sir. I know we all get short on time, but I think we're covering all the bases. We really are. I've been in the insurance business. I've been in the corporate finance, banking, and commercial finance. Work for Community Development Corporation. There's a broad spectrum of things that are wrong, and that's why I keep harping on this piece on what is the strategic plan where we can pool these resources, this knowledge. It's not the man; it's the knowledge that the man has that he or don't have. Where are we? That's the first thing we got to come up with. What do we do? And when do we get started? Quite frankly, we pretty much out of time when it comes to what we should be doing, what we should be doing. We started now, y'all. We started now. We started now. Brother, let me speak. The window of opportunity is closing.
That's all right, but I understand it. I know the excitement is taking place right now, so I agree with you. So we the inability to function and organize and structure is our problem. It just really is our problem. We have to accept that. The problem with us is broad, but we have to start with the basic root-based cause. So, as you were talking about, why aren't we doing this? That's the root base. We know that something happened to us. We know it has to be addressed. We do have to do pilot projects that will package organizational structure, what we're trying to do. One of the brothers, I think from Florida, was talking about what we call optics. We have the opportunity. We got to make sure our kids get into the trades. We have to become innovative. As was said a few minutes ago, you have to be innovative in operation. You start dealing with the financial industry. These people are flat out of their mind. They have no interest in doing business with you. But you come to them packaged properly, your opportunities are there. And I want to say this. If we want to make a change in our community, the only asset we have, we have to accept this, is our cash. That's why when we started the program, Karriem was talking about what's the difference between a credit union and a bank. Well, most of us don't have a clue until we're able to understand that our money is the only asset we have. And we can take that asset and pool it in one place, recycle it in a very organized fashion, and you can begin to build community life. We can begin to educate our people on why you should be doing a particular thing. And I cannot agree with you, Brother Imam, more on getting our children to understand you got to get married. That life skill, building your own personal life plan, building your own personal financial plan, those are skill sets that we have never had. I don't care how many PhDs we have. I don't know how many master's degrees we have. We have not used that information, as Carter G. Woodson said. You went to school to be trained. That's not everybody. Some people are smart enough to know how to bring that information back and build their own community life, but do we have the desire and the will and the thing called commitment to make our lives better? So it starts with a pilot project. I want to end it with that. That pilot project has to be focused. That strategy has to be put in place, and we have to follow it. We have to commit to it. And we also have to understand that our biggest issue is unity. We can't walk down the street and make a right turn together. So these are things that we have to address, and it has to be addressed under this umbrella, as the brother was saying earlier, this trauma that has affected us in ways that we can't even imagine. It's just too much. You know, and let me real quickly, that brother talked about not having those skill sets. Well, how come we can't pool our resources together? All these successful brothers out here who got these great businesses, how come we haven't pooled our money together to go out and buy some land, create our own processing plants for nationwide distribution of our cattle, our lamb, our food, our eggs, our chicken factory? It requires people who've already made it to put their money where their mouth is and quit talking about what should be done, what we should be doing, and talk about our kids. Our kids, well, help us with it. We need money. Nothing's going to move around without any money. So we have to have a understand if we can pool our money into a community-based credit union, a community-based CDFI, a community-based community development corporation, and get into politics and begin to teach our young people how to get involved in neighborhood association, and then take care of our children, make sure our education. You're not going to get into school systems. You're going to have to do Saturday schools. You're going to have to do supplemental instruction. We're going to have to do those particular things. So I know I say it a lot. Formulating this stuff has to be done if we want to see progress. Thank you, Brother Now.
Okay, we have about 9 minutes of broadcast time left. Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, COVID has definitely opened up the door for us to go back home into our own homes and clean up your house and get your house in order. You know, because first of all, the marriage, that's a great thing. But first of all, a lot of us, because of the trauma, we don't know how to love ourselves. A lot of us have self-esteem issues. You have to love yourself first. To love God is to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, then how can you love the Creator that created you, let alone to love anybody else? And a lot of us have to learn how to know how ourselves, to come more in tune with ourselves through meditation before we can love somebody else. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. That's where unity comes into place. So, you know, and with all that's just been said, everything has been summed up in a nutshell. And all of us
are doing and putting things in place. So we're all like-minded people on this phone. I know we didn't decide to get up early this morning to get on the phone and just be running off at the mouth. But everything that was said comes in sync. You know, and I feel that being on one accord. The thing about it is that it's a matter of us just pulling our resources together. Like we just did an event in Roseland, because Roseland, these people over here are traumatized. I have a two fellas, when I say they're traumatized, people out here hollering like wolves. And the police don't give a damn. They come here, I call, and then we need to call them. That's why we got to get back to the police in our own communities, different things like that, because this trauma is running rapid. And before you can give people economics and dollars, the mindset, people have to get it's different forms of therapy, starting with meditation, because that is so important, because people, man, are getting money every day and blowing it, and they still miserable, which means that there's an underlying good issue that needs to be addressed before we can start educating people on without ourselves dealing with the taxes as far as educating my people. But the thing about it is that what good is giving somebody $1 if they don't have cents? You see what I'm saying? We have to get back to the root of the issues and get the transformation that started with us. So continuing on, because we have a nonprofit that deals with that. I lost my mom 7 months ago. She lost her 2 biological sons to gun violence, and she got tired. So all of that my mom suffered from, and then it wears and tears on the body through all the different experiences that you go through in life. We got to understand that this is a spiritual thing, more so than anything, and get a spiritual connection with the Creator, because at the end of the day, we have all the answers that we need from going within, but a lot of us don't know that. And we never been taught how to know that, so we have to be embraced with love first. Before we know, I want to even share with you people the infrastructure.
You have a caller. If you have time to take a caller, Karriem, you have a caller, 773-487, Kofi from Chicago. Okay, you got a minute to speak. Kofi, your mic is open.
Okay, thanks. I want to add a little bit. Thanks, brothers, for all you saying. I just don't want us to always look at what we're not doing. When you get the ball rolling, that's going to self-improve itself. But the quality of education, what I'm talking about, if we understand that this is our land in America, you're going to make it. If you're always trying to put your mind somewhere in another country, you're not going to make it. This is your land right here. When we came off the plantation, we made 600 pounds in America. Okay? This is your land right here. That's right. Nobody tell you it ain't. It's your land right here, brother. It's your land in America. We getting land out here right now. We get land in California. We get land in Oklahoma. This is what's going on right now. We getting land. We got land patents. I got land. I got 12 acres in Arkansas. We're getting land right now. This is the building assets right now. This is what's going on. You want to know what's going on right now? Black people are getting their land back in America. That's what's going on. And that's what I want to let y'all know it's happening. Keep on building, brothers. I'm with you all. And I just want to say, hey, peace with y'all, man. And just keep the hope alive. And let's keep building. All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. You know, we this is a broad subject matter. And we are to work you in your places. Work you in your places. We will not be one big old group. No, the area that you are working in, seek excellence in that. Whatever area that we are working in, be the best at that and educate others concerning the knowledge of the area that you are in. Work you in your places. And Almighty God has promised us paradise. Paradise is an environment where there is no corruption. That is paradise. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, has said to the whole world, you will not enter paradise until you have faith. What is faith? Faith is the vision of something that is not readily apparent. You will not enter paradise until you have faith. And you will not have faith until you practice loving you one another. We have to love ourselves as a people. We have a genuine concern as fathers of a people, So we have to love one another. Love your people. Love all human beings. Love your country. But it begins with first the knowledge of self. Not who you are, but what you are. What you are. You are a human being that God has given a job to, and that is to maintain this creation, to maintain it, manipulate it, work with it, be a maintainer of the creation. And we shall take our rightful place in that endeavor as African American men. We're responsible for the condition of our people. Look, I know females are making great progress, and I'm not knocking that. Praise be to God for that. But if someone knocks on your front door, you don't send your wife to answer the door. The man goes, and he opens it, he answers the door. But his wife is that she's got his back. She's got his back. So on the stage of manhood, we want to assert ourselves as protectors and maintainers of our people. 90 seconds. I'll stop right there. I'm grateful to everyone. I've been alerted we have about 90 seconds left. I'm grateful for each and every last one of you that have attended this conversation, a conversation between men. And from what I'm hearing, we have a bright future in front of us based upon the content of what you shared in this conversation. And inshallah, we look forward to you attending the next all-meal conversation, the last Wednesday of next month. I must leave the air and get prepared for the next broadcast, Halal Industries. It is hosted by our beloved Imam Abdul Ayyub Bilal. And let me state that the broadcast following that optimal help will not be aired this morning. Our beloved brother Abdul Shahid is attending a janazah. So we came to you with the greetings of peace. We need you with the greetings of peace in the Quranic Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of Almighty God be upon you and upon us all.
And sisters, stay on. We're going to do an after show.
We don't run from challenges. We overcome any obstacle.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Sisters, stay on. We'll be right back after this quick break, and we will be live with the after show. The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Karriem Hameed. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution. Okay, let's see now. We are. Ooh. All right now. And opening the mics. Uh-oh. Let me see if I can. Uh-oh. All right. Ooh. Okay, are we on? All right. Can you hear me? Area code 779-801. All right, let me see if we can call here. And we are still live on Facebook, and we are in the after show. And we wanted to take a look at what we heard and give an opportunity to have a discussion. I want to make sure that the microphones are open and that I can be heard. All right, let me see. Because this was, in fact, a very profound discussion. We had a chance to hear some real plans. And thank you, Yoel, for your participation. That was definitely a profound discussion. We're going to give you a call back in about 30 minutes and see if you're available for the next month's discussion. And we'll. All righty. Thank you so much. Great job.
You still on the radio or something?
Yes, sir. We're going to do a short after show with the women to talk about what we just heard with the men. All righty.
And that's what I want to talk about. So give me a call back.
All right. Fantastic. And we are certainly, let's see, we're joined now on our Female Solution Facebook page with Deborah. And I'm trying to make sure I bring in the audio from our sisters on the line. We have Maika and Viata. Hopefully I can make sure that they are able. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to see if I can get them to join us on Facebook because our connection our connection on Blog Talk ended. But I did want to do a bit of a recap or analysis of what we heard, because I think this was a very good men's only discussion, and they definitely said some things that were pertinent in terms of what can be done and what some of them are doing and taking responsibility. And I really hope that we can spread that sentiment.
Yes. Thank you for having me on the line. I did not hear everything. I came on a little later. But what I did hear was some of the repetitive information, what we should do, what we need to do. But I was so excited when I heard some of the things of what they are doing. And I hope that sentiment and that lesson, that platform can spread, like this other stuff is spreading. We need to have this information spreading as well. I didn't jot down the gentleman's name, but as he was saying, we're buying land. We're doing what we have to do to start, and you have to start somewhere. Things are not going to materialize the way we want them to right away automatically. We have to build, and we have to be consistent. Yeah, we have to be consistent about how we build. We can't start something off and be so excited about it and put the platform together and allow interference to come in and take away what we've built. And that's interference on many levels, because we know that when we're trying to do something for the good, it seems like evil seeps in and takes over, and then pride. And a lot of evilness comes by way of pride and thievery and deception, uh, not wanting the next person to get more of a accolade.
Yes, Viata.
And that's something we have to teach too. We have to teach.
Okay, I got Viata and Maika on the line. Okay.
Great. But we have to teach how to lose and how to win and how to be respectful of others and humble. You know, if someone doesn't give you that award, you worked hard for something and they don't recognize, it may not be intentional, but you know what you've done. Give yourself the accolades. You know, do what you do to build a solid block on that platform. You got a street. You got to build a street. You're not the only one in there, and everybody can't be given their accolades right now. You'll be recognized later, or recognize yourself, celebrate yourself, and move on to the next step. There's always a method that you have to apply and allow yourself to grow, and helping others grow. It's not just you in this teamwork. It's a
Right.
lot of others. So I heard some good things, and I heard some of the same old stuff.
Well, you know, I think one of the things we have to do is take responsibility from this point. And I understand the history of what happened and it, you know, the discrimination, this and that. But one of the empowering things we can do is take responsibility for, like one of the brothers was saying about, establish your family. Because if you can't do it in your household, you can't do it anywhere else.
Right.
So first of all, you got to be in unity with your spouse. And then from there you can build, you can organize, you can cooperate and develop what you need to combine your skills. That's what a family does. That's one of the fundamental things that a lot of men and women are missing. You know, if you're
Yes.
on, I'm getting mine for me, and you know, and I'm a punish him for not doing what I wanted him to do, and then in the midst, the children suffer because they don't see cooperation in the family. They see bickering and
Mhm.
arguing and
Right.
fighting, division. So we gotta first get that part together.
That's why so many relationships don't last.
They don't last because
First,
of division.
yeah, first, Wendy Williams, our Esquire,
Yeah.
she always spoke about that. How in the
Yes.
beginning you got to pay attention.
Right. Is this person
And if you didn't pay attention in the beginning, now you got to figure out how to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like ourselves sometimes, so we're not going to always agree with somebody else. If you know you don't agree with some of the decisions you made, and it was a mistake, you made it. It was a mistake. You got over it. You did better for the next time. And that's the same thing with others that are in your life, in your house. You know, I
Absolutely.
loved it when the guy said somebody knocks on the door and the man's in the house. The woman has no need to go to the
Why she
door.
got to go with, you know,
Right. Come
hoping it's
on
not an
now.
intruder. Or you hear something, you know, rumbling downstairs. Why she got to go down there with the baseball bat? I mean, no, that's not.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're an able-bodied person.
Yeah.
You know, why do I have to bring the groceries in and bring the laundry up and down the stairs if
Yeah, you
you
got all
got
the muscle.
able-bodied people?
And
But
heavy lifting.
but that's something that is taught too. Because when you have that unity in the home, then your children will see and mirror that. That's where they learn. So remember, we're building generations.
Right.
So pay attention when you do get with that knucklehead, and you see he's a knucklehead. You
Okay.
kind of mold around.
He's a knucklehead. Let him, go somewhere by himself and keep developing himself. You can't fix him, and that's the mistake we make.
You can't fix him, but you can work on the surroundings that you are placed in.
Yes, you can do that.
Running is not going to solve the surroundings. You do what you have to do. And if he is one that doesn't get up and open the door, that you make a way to let it be known, if not to him, but to your children. And who is that? They say the man is the head of the house, but the woman
Is
is the run that runs everything. You know what I mean?
head but with a neck. So which way do you turn? That's
But we gonna help you in that. You have to come with some, maybe, and that's something that in the courting stages.
yeah.
The courting years. And if they change, a lot of people say they weren't like that before we got together. Well, there was something.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention. That's
There
because
was
there's
something.
always signs. And
Yeah.
they say a person by the company they keep. Look at the friends they surround themselves by and their character and their values and their ethics, because that's going to tell you
And
what
how they speak about other people.
Yes, listen.
How they respond and how they speak about other folks.
Especially
Because
if
when
they
it's
had a
not you
relationship.
around,
Yes, that's
yeah,
right.
you got somebody who's talking about somebody and how
Mhm.
demeaning they are and how this, that, and the other they are and how they shouldn't be doing. Trust and believe. When you're not around, they're saying the same thing about you.
So Viata and Maika, was there anything that you heard that struck you in terms of something we can build on as women and work with men who are conscious, of course, but still realizing we got some issues? What do you think?
This is Miata, and what struck me the most is what LA was talking about, because he was saying about learning how to build houses, learning how to feed ourselves. Those are the basics. We don't know how to do that, and I think he was right in that we need to really start teaching our children, grandchildren, how to build houses, how to live simply, how to grow your own food, and then how to start your own business. That's the part of the problem we have today. Number one, we're so distracted with our phones and this technology that going back to those simple lessons, building a house, growing your own food, are really challenging for people because they're so used to being entertained instead of growing and learning.
Yeah.
Seems to me that our children should not be entertained so much as learning how to do those things, build houses, grow food. And yet we have a major challenge with these phones distracting us and our children. So that's the challenge we're going to have in the next few years, even getting these kids and people off their phones to learn how to build houses, grow food, and start your own business. That's what I heard out of it.
But all of that is on the phone. I saw my son
Yeah.
repairing under the hood, repairing a car in one hand and YouTube in the other.
Yes.
Getting the lessons. So it's not the peripheral, it's the way we use it.
We have to put together the training videos that they can watch on the phone of
Yes.
food and building homes.
Just directing them, like Deborah just said, directing them to the University of YouTube, not entertainment of YouTube. You're absolutely right. There's so much YouTube you can learn and grow in, but we got to redirect them. Don't stop being entertained and learn how to do something.
Yeah, change the mindset of what entertains you. Because I look at the earth, some programs on television is the same way. And you don't have to look at the programs that are killing and deception and all this kind of stuff going on. But it's so much to learn about nature and how we're developing, and even the fact of this new telescope that just went up in the outer space. You know, we got so much information about the people going into outer space for the entertainment. Here you go, yeah. But nobody really put a lot of emphasis on sharing the understanding of why they sent this telescope in beyond the universe, so many millions of light years away, to see how the earth was formed 15 billion years ago. And that just happened this past week. And
Well,
you
you know what?
haven't heard anything about that.
I think when parents set the example, if you're sitting around and you're watching these shows and you're having a discussion, and you know, then the children, they get involved. So they're gonna always mirror what we do. So if we're zoning out, you know, being entertained, watching all the, you know, violent movies and everything. We can't then expect them to go and watch science. You know, we
Right.
have to be the ones that are making it interesting and fun and discussing and talking about it, and taking them places. You know, taking them educational places that are fun and interesting, and doing projects with them, you know, building stuff. If you have crafts going on in your household, they don't have time to just sit around and mindless entertainment. They're involved. That means we have to take the
Right.
time to involve them. And
Involve them.
if you're
Yes.
gonna plant stuff, you know, make it fun. Okay, we're gonna grow some tomatoes. You all like tomatoes? You all like potatoes? You like potato chips? Okay, we're gonna grow our potatoes and then we're gonna make it. I mean, make it fun. So, Micah, you think that if we put together some farming videos and then took children on some trips out there to the farm and got them engaged, you think they'd find that enjoyable and entertaining? Micah, you still with us? I think she might have dropped.
Okay. Yeah, we have to show them and not just tell them. We have to show them, and we have to engage more with them. Find out where their mind is. I remember when my children were growing, and came in with this music, and I liked the beat, but then I thought about. I said, okay, let's see what they're actually saying, even because I don't understand what they're saying. So you go to lyrics.com at the time, years ago, and we would sit down and talk about the lyrics. Okay, you like the beat, but do you hear what they're saying? Is that something that
Yes.
you agree with? I
Ooh,
don't think
that's something
so.
you agree with. That's a
Yeah, that's not where we're going. We're not demeaning women and girls and your life, and you're not thugging around with the bullets and all this yaki doc that were on the lyrics. Now, I must say that we have to have some kind of entertainment to shift to be joyful, because I've binged on Housewives. You know, you have to like decompress, decompress.
detox.
Yeah, have a balance,
Yeah.
but understand that balance and know, kind of direct that balance. And that's why it's so important as parents. See, we need to reach the parents of children, because we're now in generations where they weren't reached. So they don't know how to reach and how to teach. All they do is go out and get what they can to kind of keep the roof over their head, and they're not paying attention.
Right.
And oh my goodness, I just hope that they don't close down these schools again.
Well, you know what? I mean, I know a lot of families are not ready, but I think this is another part of our taking responsibility for teaching our children life skills. Like I think LA was talking about that. If you and the other brother who's the banking manager, I think also, if your children need life skills, if they need to learn something, then probably the best place is to learn it at home. And maybe we can, all get together on around the pardon me, around the
The
computer and
table.
go to YouTube University and learn how to build a house or learn how to
You
grow
can.
cabbage or whatever it is. But that needs to be the way children learn. How many years have we been complaining about the public school education? It's useless. They get out, they can't do anything, they don't have any skills. Well, now is our opportunity to take
Right.
responsibility for teaching our children life skills. That means, like LA was talking about, social capital, learning how to get along with your neighbors so that you can work in cooperation. I need somebody to help me build my house. I need somebody to help me fix my car. I need somebody to help. I mean, all these things.
Yes.
Okay, we have
Yes.
people that all have skills. That's how you build a community. Everybody
Yes.
works together. But that means you have to take time to build those skills. If all the stuff we're learning in our public schools have no relevance to survival, then why do we keep sending our
Because
children to these institutions so they can come out after wasting hours and hours and hours learning useless information, giving them no skills to take care of themselves? Why do we
because
keep
of the convenience. The convenience. And that's
a
that's
babysitting
that's
first?
the lane that we know are that's the lane that we are so familiar with.
Right.
We
We've
don't know how to shift to do something else.
right.
And we don't think we have enough time in the day
Yeah.
to spend on that. And that's why we compensate in other ways during Christmas,
Right.
getting
Overbuying.
everything, yeah, and throughout the year. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone and they said if their child didn't get, they had to get these pair of shoes that were $200, and if they did not get them, they would be bullied as because they had something substandard.
And we allow this as a collective group of
Because
adults. We allow this in our schools instead of going to the school and saying, look, teacher, you see bullying, that child needs to, their parent needs to come in. We're going to handle this. But I'm not going to be peer pressured into overspending and
right,
buying my child something so other children won't tease them. This child got a problem teasing. Okay, we need to have parents come in. And your child can't come back to school until your parents come up here.
and so,
Your
yeah, it has to be attacked on both ways because we have to also teach our children not to be not to accept that type of bullying.
Yeah.
Don't allow that to dictate who you are.
That means we
Let
have to back them up.
let people right.
No, we can't just sit our children, oh, just ignore it. No, you go look, the teacher, because I've been there. I've been in the classroom with a teacher who turned a blind eye while I was being bullied. She had alcohol on her breath every day, so she wasn't hardly there. She was useless in terms of keeping some type of order in that classroom where I could be safe. So,
But why was she useless? Why did she have the alcohol on her breath? Why was she
administration
going
wasn't
through?
paying attention.
Because there's a backstory to that, as well.
Yeah.
Because we find that now the children go back into school and they have to be re-educated what they just, missed. There's security issues. There's respect issues. The
Yeah.
teacher should not be have to teach that.
Right.
That
That's what the
that
parents
should
are
be
supposed to teach.
secured at home.
That's
So
true.
I remember I had an issue at a school, and we had a school meeting with the principal and other heads of whoever. And please forgive me.
Yes, your clients need you to
And I had to ask my child to leave the room before I reprimanded these people. And
Mm.
that's a lot of things too, respect. The child didn't need to hear what I had
Right,
to
but
say
you
to
had to
these
say to
adults.
adults, because otherwise then the child loses respect for adults. So that's another
Exactly.
thing. We do need to
Exactly. But you get these parents that go to the school and they raising sand.
I know, I wanna cuss out the teacher in front of the
Right.
children.
No, you come and you sit in the class with your child.
Right.
Or better yet, have those cameras in each classroom, and you come in the office and you see how your child is acting
Yeah. Ooh,
when you're
that's
not
a
around.
good one. Yeah.
So we got security both ways. We're making sure that the child staying safe, and we also are able to have
Document.
you come in and take care of that business too,
Yeah,
and
that,
see what
that's
your child is doing. Because your child is messing up. Oh
yeah.
yeah, your child did that.
And you're right. The teachers shouldn't have to re-raise 30 children because 30 parents didn't teach them basic
Wasn't able to.
Yeah.
Again, wasn't able to for whatever reason.
Well, either
'Cause
didn't
they
know
had
how
to
to, didn't have enough help. Because I mean, you can't be mother and father to a child.
No.
You can only be one person, and you don't have that teamwork. It's going to show up somewhere. I don't care how severe you are. Some of these mothers think, well, if I beat them enough, then they'll fear me enough, or they'll behave. No, you beat them, and they're just going to learn how to beat someone else. They're going to become that bully because they
Right.
can't hit you back, but they're going to hit somebody else. So
Right.
hitting them is not teaching them.
But that's all the parent knows.
That's all you know. And if that's all you have, because you don't have a balance of parenting, well, one person does this, one person does that, and you're trying to overcompensate for not having the patience, the skills, the ability to show them in a way that is not stressful or fear inducing because you don't have the skills. Then you only know how to do what you can do to make them obey because you don't have time because you got to get to work. So yeah,
Yeah.
you mess up in school, you getting a beating because I can't be taken off work every time you get suspended.
Right.
You messed up.
Right.
It
Because
becomes
you
a
working
vicious
for
cycle.
somebody else. So
Yeah.
you can't take off of work. You don't have that flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
Because you working for somebody else.
You're working for
It does
somebody
not
else.
allow you that flexibility. Hello.
There
Here's that
we go.
symbol.
It comes a vicious cycle. We can't. So this is a time, and I think somebody said it, this is a time for us to restructure our family life and our community life and even our business life. Because if you can create a business that you control your time, then you can decide to spend the time that your children need for you to be there to give them guidance and not have the television babysitting them.
Right.
But that means we have to structure our society so that
Yeah.
the way we interact is not uh, this fear of being fired from a job and you got to sacrifice time with your children to be someplace and you can't see after them. If we can work from home and still produce products or provide service and take care of our children, that's the best thing.
Woo. Woo.
And we
What
can
what
be there
what
and
a
guide
culture,
there.
what a nation that we could build. Oh my gosh.
That's the vision we need to have and create
Starting now.
starting now.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to reach out to me and get help in understanding a business and especially in travel, I pride myself to say I can figure out how you can do almost anything with travel, any direction. But um, it, put yourself in a position. You may have to work, and that job that corporate job you go to, allow that to be seed money for your business,
Yes.
for your generation, not just for you, but for your children and your children's children and your children's children.
Right.
And it may fall off. Some won't gravitate to it, and some will.
But at least
But put that in your mindset.
yeah.
Stop being only a consumer
Yes.
and start thinking about being a producer.
Absolutely. Create something. And I think it was Steve Mosley. I think he was one of the ones that said that we have the power to create what we need.
Yes.
So if there needs to be jobs in our community, we're the ones who have to create them. We're the ones that have to develop them. And then we have to train our children in whatever industry we create. So it is all on us. It's not, well, somebody got to give us something. Because if somebody gives you something, they can take it right back.
Mhm.
So if you create it, it's yours, and that has to be our plan of action. I think somebody
Yes.
mentioned we need a plan. Well, that has to be the plan.
That's the plan.
Independence and interdependence, but not dependence, not
Right.
helplessness.
Right. And check out Tiffany Haddish. She's putting together platforms
Oh, that's
to
great.
recycle the money
That's great.
in
I
her
believe that's
own
the inspiration that
yes,
people are getting.
Tiffany Haddish. She's
Yeah.
more than just a comedian. She's smart. She's a planner.
Yeah, because she lifted herself up out of some real serious circumstances.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we
right. You think about her. You think about Tyler Perry, where he was at
yes,
one point.
yes,
Just imagine. It's not something that's instant. It's not like instant potatoes. You put water
right.
in it. But you build any
Mhm.
person who did not have generational money, who
Yeah,
started their business at the bottom. They started their mind,
right,
in
right.
their rooms, in their homes, in their garages. They've
Hmm.
been homeless. They've had failures,
Hmm.
multiple failures, but they kept moving.
Right.
They kept moving. You
Oh,
don't give up.
that's the key.
You don't give up.
You
Just like
do.
you don't not get up to go to work. Put
Right,
that energy in yourself as well. You putting it into somebody else. Put it into yourself.
right. Have a purpose for getting up to go to work. Now, if you work in a job that you hate, well, that's okay if that's serving a purpose. But like you're saying, use that as seed money for the business that you want to build. So that's your
Yeah.
incentive to go. I'm not working for them. I'm working for myself. I'm working for my
Right.
that means I have a vision of where I'm going to go and then something I'm going to pass on to my children and provide a means for my children to develop their dreams. That has to be our reason for what we do. And when
Yes.
it is, then we're energized, then we're motivated because we have a greater vision of where we want to end up. And we also are empowering ourselves by giving ourselves a goal, and we're also giving our children an incentive. So
Yeah.
when we say, well, we want to sit down and watch this farming show on TV, then after that we're going to get out and go in the yard and plant some vegetables that we're going to eat next fall. All of that has to be part of your family life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Everybody can't do it. Everybody can't answer the door.
right.
Some people have to stay in the back.
Yeah. Do
And,
your
and be the
role the best
backup. So yeah, if the person at the door isn't pleasant, you gotta have a backup.
That's right. Always have a backup. Yes. So Viata, before we go, you have any last thoughts or suggestions? How can we start now to shape the world that we are creating and taking advantage of this Corona adventure? Hold just one second. Yes. Beata, are you with us? Yeah. Yeah, let me call you right. Well, you know what? Hold on. We got Wanda Carter with us.
Yeah.
Just in time, Wanda. So yeah,
How are you all?
we are fantastic. We just had a wonderful discussion. We had a men-only discussion where the men talked about um, men taking economic responsibility for their communities, and they said some very they said some very powerful things, but we know that women are the ones that are the executors of plans. We just are. This is what we do. And it's our energy that often, and many men will say, they will say, I've been trying to get this business going forever. Once I met my wife and she helped me, that's when it actually came to fruition. A lot of men will admit that they needed that second leg. You got one leg steps forward, you got to have another leg that can step forward as well, and that's how you keep walking. And so we know we got to walk forward in partnership to make this plan work. So we know that we've got to depart, and we thank all of you for being a part of this discussion, and join us tomorrow. We'll have Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green right here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And get ready for the third Saturday of the month and move around with Deborah, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central. And thank you all so much. And thanks to all the guests who were with us today and my co-host, Karriem Hameed. Wonderful discussion. I'm inspired, and I'm sure that we're going to inspire some people to actually begin to shape their lives and plan their lives so we can manifest this vision. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time on The Female Solution. The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Karriem Hameed. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325